And a good morning, Eagles fans. It is a vacation summer Tuesday here on Birds 365 as we work our way to the opening of training camp. McMullen McDonald going to hang with you for the next 2 hours talking football, mostly Eagles football, a couple of national football topics I want to run by my partner here today. But we'll be talking ball, as Coach Sirianni likes to call it, all day long. Not b-ball. We ended the NBA season last night. Congratulations to the Nuggets. Not baseball. Yeah, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning on WIP after the Phillies lost a late one in the desert. No, the ball we're talking today is football. And I want to go to our buddy Reuben Frank to start the show today, John. Had his observation column. Usually comes out Sunday night or early Monday. This week was not till Monday. It was posted yesterday. And one of the topics Reuben touched on is DeVonta Smith, softball maven that he is, his status among wide receivers in the National Football League, and has DeVonta Smith already cracked the top 10 in wide receivers? Last year at this time, after the Eagles had acquired A.J. Brown, we kicked back and forth, where does A.J. rank in the National Football League? And when I had him number 11, a lot of Eagle fans lost their mind.
Oh, yeah.
They thought I was a stone cold hater. And why do you do that? You have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't have him
bad, by the way. That's not bad.
Right. I didn't have him 43rd. I had him 11th. I said just outside the top 10. Here are the 10 guys I would take above AJ. And this is a very fluid list. It changes every single year. You're not locked into that position for 5 years. You have a good year, you can move up. You have a less than stellar year, injured-filled year, you drop down a little bit. So last year when we talked about an Eagle wide receiver in the top 10, I got crushed for it. And then, oh, by the way, readily admit and acknowledge A.J. Brown went out and stamped himself as a top 10 wide receiver. So let me tell you right now, if I were to put together my list for top 10 wide receivers in the National Football League, A.J. Brown would be on it. A.J. Brown would be top 5 or 6 is where I would rank the Eagles' top wide receiver right now. And Reuben asked the question, is DeVonta Smith below A.J. Brown, but still in the top 10 wide receivers in the National Football League? So I took the time yesterday to do it, John, and crunch my numbers. And the answer is, yeah, he is. He's already a top 10 wide receiver. I had him coming in at number 9, so that makes him a top 10. Last year, I had a guy just outside. This year, I got a guy just inside. The Eagles have two top 10 wide receivers right now. This is sorry for all you old head Eagle fans who want to remember yesterday. This is easily the best wide receiver duo the Eagles have ever had in the history of their franchise.
Yeah. I said that last year. I said, hey, I didn't say best. I said most talented duo
they're both
that they've ever. This was before they ever played a game together. They hadn't done it. Now they have done it. But it was clearly the most gifted duo very early in the process. Top 10, I'm probably going to get in trouble. I don't know if he's top 10. There's a lot of good receivers in the NFL. I'm not going to argue if you got him at 9 or 10. He might be 11 or 12. He's in that range. He's so gifted. He's such a good route runner. And that's what I look for with great receivers, because, I mean, when you have you got to be a tremendous athlete to be an NFL receiver. You just have to be, and to be in the conversation to be top 10, that's sort of baked into it. The Tyreek Hills of the world, we just mentioned A.J. Brown from a different perspective, the size, the physicality, the strength. Whether you want to go Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, these are the best receivers in football. They're all just unreal athletes, and Devontae is as well. And, the route runners, Stephon Diggs would be the guy. I mean, so many, when you talk to young receivers, they all say Diggs. Such a great route runner. Devontae's like reaching that level. He creates such separation. He's tremendous. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's tremendously physical for 160. It's weird. I mentioned that with Mike Quick when we had him on the show. It's weird. He's long. He's not big, but he's long. He's got these giant hands. I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver in the league. I don't know if I can put him there yet. I just ran down. I haven't done it like you. I just ran down a bunch of guys that I would have ahead of him, 6 or 7 right off the top of my head, which is not a lot. So Eagles fans shouldn't get upset by that. He's whether he's top 10, 11, 12, he's really, really gifted. And yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches at the top of that wide receiver depth chart. And then it kind of falls off from there, obviously.
Right to the coach's new favorite, Quez Watkins. But we'll get to Quez a little later in the show. Yeah, it's funny, John, because when I put AJ just outside the top 11, everyone who I argued that with as the season went on made sure that they jumped on my timeline on Twitter and said, "Hey, Jody, how's that 11th wide receiver in the league doing? You sure you want to keep at number 11?" And, of course, I respond and say, hey, I said at the time it was just temporary and you can move up and down a list like this pretty damn easy. It's funny. I never get any tweets nor calls on WIP. If the guys want to hop on and just leave a comment on our stream here, which, oh, by the way, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I never get anybody going, yeah, you were right to not be worried about DeVonta Smith's spindly legs, because that was all the talk of camp 2 years ago. How can a guy like this play in the National Football? A stiff wind comes by and this guy's going to be blown up. Taking the step up to the National Football, I don't know that he's going to last. Well, he did it to the tune of a Heisman Trophy in college football in the SEC. He wasn't playing Division III college football. He's playing in the SEC. He's playing in national championship games with Alabama. So everyone has to make that jump up, and everyone knows that the NFL is more physical than college football, but the closest facsimile is the SEC, and he didn't have any problems there. I said, some guys are just that gifted. They're just that talented that they know how to avoid the big hit and the big contact. And 2 straight years, A.J. Brown has played in 17 games. There's been no injury issues. There's been no he can't take a big shot type issues. He's just that good, and he stays away from guys that he stays on the field. And that is one of the reasons that I put him in my top 10 is guy plays every single snap. And as you just said, Johnny Mac, it just sounds wrong when you say it, but a 176-pound, 165-pound guy is as tough as nails.
Yeah, he really is. He is. Now, I'm not going to kill people for questioning his size. I also, you remember, I asked Mike for a comp. Have you ever seen anybody who's that size, be that physical, be that, and he had to go way back to Anthony Carter, which is, in the 80s.
Right,
I mean, it's not like it happens every year. There are outliers, and it's starting to change. And when you see somebody like DeVonta, but that's what I'm saying. Most 166-pound guys aren't physical in the NFL, and he is. And it's kind of amazing to watch. I remember his first practice, and I had, been covering the Eagles for a while now, and they were not good at receiver for the most part. Their best receivers were good NFL players, but compared to the rest of the league, I mean, they had some issues at wide receiver. And we all know those issues. And having gone through that and seeing DeVonta Smith pretty much from day one, you said, okay, this guy's different. This guy's different than what they had in the past. And then they get A.J. Brown on top of it. And all of a sudden, the position is cured. But, yeah, I mean, I think it was fair. I'm not going to play revisionist history and criticize those people. I think it was fair to question his size, and pretty much every scouting report did for the obvious reason. Jody, you're laughing.
Yeah, I'm
But for the
laughing
obvious,
because he was the 11th pick in the draft. So how many teams really said, "Oh, he can't play in the NFL. He's
well,
too
no,
small"?
then you give people credit. Nobody did. That's the point. You give people credit, and they're saying, "All right, yeah, this guy's got these issues, but he's different."
If the Eagles hadn't taken DeVonta at 10, he would have fallen through the first round?
I didn't say that. I said
No, I
yeah.
didn't say you said that, John. I asked you a question.
No, of course not.
Okay.
He was. I'm saying it was legit. If you look at every one of his scouting reports, every single one of them brought up the size issue because it's real. But they also said he's a great player, and that's why he was drafted number 10. But what I'm trying to say, Jody, is it's rare. It doesn't happen all the time. So when you see somebody 166 pounds and you go, well, I mean, you are kind of going against the grain. We know how important traits and measurables are to NFL teams and all the analytics, and they do all these studies, um and you're not supposed to be what he is, but he is.
Right.
And that's all credit to DeVonta Smith.
Credit to DeVonta Smith and also to the Philadelphia Eagles, because flying in the face of those who said just too small, isn't going to be able to survive 165 pounds, legs like twigs. Oh, he can flat out play. And all you had to do was turn on the tape and go back and watch what he did at Alabama against, yes, the most reasonable facsimile to the NFL you have. And he never got hurt there. He never took the big shot there. He never paid the price for being that small there. So I guess it comes back to my stance of people over-evaluate measurables. If a guy can flat out play, and he proved he can flat out play, and he did it in college for 3 years, and he was stone cold dominant, put the measurables off to the side and go, yeah, but look at what he actually does when he plays football. What would I rather judge, a measuring stick or an actual piece of film on a guy who's played? And for not just one game, an entire 3-year career, because none of them can come into the league until they've been in college football for 3 years. So unlike the NBA where they draft guys after 1 year in college or put them in the G League and then bring them at the end, this is completely different. College football gives you the best chance to evaluate a player at a high level and be able to put the measurables aside, that there are some guys that are the exception to the rule. Generally speaking, yes, you want to incorporate their physicality, what they can do. But on some special occasions, you look at a player and go, yeah, I don't care what his measurables are. I can see the guy is just a flat-out stud as a player. And the Eagles not only did that, traded back and then traded back up because they wanted the player that badly. And damn if they've been right about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that year. It's always the Eagles had their eyes on 4, really 5 players, but Kyle Pitts wasn't in the conversation. They were never going to get up to Kyle Pitts. They wanted the 2 cornerbacks, and they went. J.C. Horn's the player they probably would have taken. Again, I don't like to play this revisionist history game because they got it right. They deserve credit because they went up. He was the last guy. He was the last guy of the group. And they were very concerned they wouldn't get him, and they wouldn't have gotten him if they didn't trade up to get him. So I give them credit for that part. But, and by the way, all the other players they liked are great. Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, Jalen Waddle, they're all great players.
Right.
So,
good draft.
but when you're up at that point of the draft, you got better players, obviously. And they deserve credit, but it's not like, and by the way, if Jalen Waddle was here, he'd be great too. He's a great player. And DeVonta would be somewhere else, would probably be a great player. Surtain's probably the best of that bunch, to be honest. He is a phenomenal player. J.C. Horn's a very good player. Had the one injury, but so it was a good draft. They got a very good player. Yeah, but I'm just not gonna. my only point I'm trying to make here is if you're going, all right, DeVonta Smith isn't good because he won the Heisman Trophy. DeVonta Smith isn't good because he was good at Alabama. DeVonta Smith is good because he's good. That the NFL is littered with failed prospects from the SEC who produced at the highest level of college football. Just littered. Tim Tebow being the most notable, who might be the greatest college football player of all time. Wasn't a good NFL player. I remember the Michael Sam discussion. Michael Sam was the co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year, was a phenomenal pass rusher at the college level. And I bring him up because of the traits were the issue. He was 6'2". He didn't show explosion, but he was a great college player. Wasn't a good pro player. It happens all the time. DeVonta's good because he's just special. The route running, the length, the hands, the ability to get off press coverage despite his size. Not because he won the Heisman Trophy. Not because, obviously, that contributed that. But what I'm saying is there are plenty of great players from Alabama, Georgia, everywhere that don't end up as great in the NFL.
Understood. I guess my point is neither is 100%. The guys with the unbelievable traits don't always turn into superstar players. They don't. There is many of those failures as there are the SEC guys who won Heisman's like Tim Tebow and didn't cut it in the NFL. It's also not 100% if you have that kind of success in college that you're going to be it's the combination of the two. And yes, the teams that get it right are the ones that can look at both the tape and the accomplishment and go, yeah, this guy's got both. He's checking both boxes. I don't care that he's 165 pounds. He did it. I can project he's going to do it in the National Football League. And DeVonta Smith has done just that. The Eagles got that one right. Yeah, I got that one right. And too many Eagle fans checked in with me and said, yeah, I'm worried about this guy. You didn't need to be. And it's been proven out after 2 years. That's just the case. John McMullen Jody McDonald, the Mac and Mac guys here on Birds 365. Got two good guests coming your way today. A little later from the best show ever on both the Fanatic and NBC Sports Philly. Our buddy Hunter Brody's going to jump in. But next, we've got the big guys. Special Ed Kratz joins us here on Birds 365.
Do you stream on a Roku?